How's it going, everybody? It is Dennis, and we're back with another video. And today, as you can see on the screen, we're going to be talking about CONY, Coinbase, Bitcoin. We're going to be talking all about it today. We're going to be talking about my strategy going into it, going into the next year, and with all the events that are going to happen next year. So let's go ahead and get into it. With CONY, as if you might know or you might not know, CONY has a distribution rate of 110% or 110.42% to the year. As of right now, it is returning a good amount, with the last return being highest return that YieldMax ETFs has seen. Of course, this is a YieldMax ETF. It has returned $2.46. I do own this myself. As I say all the time, I love being transparent as possible. So my total return for CONY is $402 or 32.85%. We have a 3.46% diversity in my portfolio, and I'm holding almost 60 shares, right? I received roughly 3 dividends, I'm pretty sure, from CONY. Let's just double check. October, November, December. Yeah, 3 dividends I have received from CONY, with one being 54, another one being 51, and the latest one being the highest, since they had the highest payout ever, 123. So, with all that said, why am I making a video on CONY? The reason I'm making a video is just I want to speak about my strategy going into CONY, going into how I am trading this ETF and what I'll be doing next year. What I'm thinking is, of course, the underlying stock is Coinbase. The underlying stock is Coinbase, which with the 52-week average for volatility, which is what I usually go off when it comes to the premium that's going to be paid out for these ETFs. The underlying stock, Coinbase, its volatility for the 52-week average was 88.1. Now, as we can see, Coinbase has shot up in the past 3 months. It has shot up 105% in the past 3 months, and CONY has shot up in the past 3 months 31.54%. Of course, you know, CONY is limited due to the covered calls having a limit on the contract, so CONY is limited on the growth, but still a pretty good growth. Now, why is Coinbase shooting up? Because Bitcoin is shooting up. Bitcoin has went up by 60% in the past 3 months, and as you can see, it's live. Bitcoin's always trading, so the number is moving around as we speak. But we can see that it shot up from 26 all the way up to 43 now. It is constantly growing. It is going higher and higher, and this all comes into, you know, the overall strategy for next year. SPY as well has shot up. Of course, today we had a sell-off date. Everybody sold off today, which makes sense. Everybody's profit taking today. We had 10 days of consecutive growth on the S&P 500, so kind of makes sense. But what is my strategy going into CONY for next year? Well, with all this information, with seeing that volatility is higher on Coinbase is up in the past 3 months. CONY is up in the past 3 months. We've had our highest yield ever on a YieldMax ETF. Bitcoin is reaching to its new highs, and S&P 500 is reaching its new highs. What is my strategy for this bullish market? Well, it is actually maybe quite different than what other people might have. I am actually preparing to sell out of the position coming next year. The reason being is, if we look over to all this information, Bitcoin has a history of going up and then crashing down, going up and then crashing down. And seeing with the steady growth we have at the moment, there's a couple reasons for it. Not only is Bitcoin going through another cycle, it is also having a lot of push to it. What do I mean by push? Well, there are Bitcoin ETFs that are going to be coming out soon. January is the month where the ETFs might be coming out. January 5th to January 10th of next year are the estimated dates for the last day to be approved for the Bitcoin ETFs. When these Bitcoin ETFs are approved, there's going to be a huge push into the Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market for a lot of money going into these markets, and it will cause Bitcoin to inflate to crazy amounts that we've not seen before. Due to this inflation, we will also have a growth in Coinbase. If we have a growth in Coinbase, we have a growth in CONY. This is all good and dandy. Of course, I will be holding throughout this growth, and I hope it happens next month, and that we get all this growth, and we get the total returns, we get high yields. It's all great and dandy, right? Then we also have a halving coming up. As you can see, we've had the first halving in 2012, second halving in 2016, third halving in 2020, and the fourth halving, which is estimated to be coming up in April. If we get this halving in April, as you can see, This is done by someone else. This is a chart done on the estimated price that we will be having on Bitcoin. We can see that every single halving, there's a huge run up, then it crashes, then there's a huge run up, and it crashes. As you can see, there is a trend to it. So we can see that right now we're nearing the 50K mark. We're almost hitting the 50K mark, to which we will go down to probably the 40s. Then we will shoot back up to what the estimate is by many people is the 100K mark. I don't think we're going to hit 200. We might with the boost of the ETFs that are launching, but we're going to probably hit 100K when it comes to Bitcoin price. What does this mean for Coinbase? Well, of course, Coinbase is a cryptocurrency stock, so Coinbase will shoot up as well, and so will CONY, and therefore you will be receiving more premium, meaning more dividends, and you'll also be getting immense amount of growth. So, what is the plan? Well, I think it's kind of obvious. We hold this ETF until April. Once we get to April, we will see where we're at. Obviously, I don't think that we're going to be at 50K or maybe 40K when this happens, because in January, if we get an ETF, I think in January we might hit 100K because of the boost of money coming into Bitcoin due to the ETFs. Once that happens, I think we're going to shoot up maybe to 150K for Bitcoin. 150K for Bitcoin is going to be a great growth for Coinbase and all other stocks that focus on cryptocurrency. Of course, as we can see, the trend usually is that it shoots up in the next couple, like 3-4 months, or maybe even a half a year. It is shooting up to that high amount. So my strategy for next year is, if this happens in April and we hit roughly say 100, 110, 120 mark, 20K mark, I will be selling off on CONY. I will be selling off my position, because I believe that right after that, once we hit the peak over here, we're not going to crash down to 90. I think we're going to go way lower. We're going to have a same thing that happened this past year, the last couple years for Bitcoin, where we shot up to the 65K mark and we tumbled. And people thought that we're going to stop here at the 30. Then we tumbled more, and we tumbled to where we almost got to 4 digits. We didn't. We got to the 5-digit mark, but we got close to the 4-digit mark. And I think that's where we're going to be. I don't think we're going to be at the 16K level, but we're probably going to be around the 20K, 30K level. So that is why, if that does happen, Coinbase will tank immensely, because most of their holdings are cryptocurrency. Therefore, I will be holding CONY till next year, probably April, a little bit after April, 2-3 months after April. I'll be getting those dividends. And for my dividend estimate on Coinbase, on CONY, I believe that CONY will have a pretty good dividend payment again. I think maybe we're not going to have a $2.40 payout, maybe $1.50, maybe even $2 payout, but I think it's going to be $1.50 to $2. And I would greatly appreciate that. And I think with the boost of the ETFs, we're going to have more dividends, more volatility, more everything. So there's going to be high dividends coming next year. The beginning of next year, the first 2 quarters, we're going to have high dividends. We're going to have high growth on Coinbase, meaning high growth on CONY. This is going to be probably 60% growth. We're going to double it. So there's a really bullish outlook on CONY. Therefore, I'm going to be holding it. I'll be holding it for the first 2 quarters of 2024. But once we hit that halving, once we hit this halving, once we get to the 2-3 months out, I'm selling off, because I don't think it's going to be a good long-term hold. Once it hits that limit, sell off and just go to a different position. And when it all resets, then go ahead and buy in. So that is my outlook on Bitcoin. That is my outlook on CONY. That is my outlook on Coinbase, the underlying stock of CONY. So that is my plan for 2024 on CONY. I will be holding it until a little bit after April, probably into July and August. Then I will go ahead and sell off my position once I think we've reached the peak. And that will be it. That will be my whole time with CONY. Hopefully it drops back down and we go ahead and buy back in, because Coinbase is volatile. It is volatile due to Bitcoin. It is at 88.1%, close to pretty much what Riot is, which is what I trade my option wheel strategy on, which is at 100% volatility. So that is that. That is my strategy going in for 2024 when it comes to CONY, when it comes to this YieldMax ETF. And yeah, maybe things will change. Maybe, Bitcoin will stay at a stagnant rate once ETFs are introduced, because ETFs will balance out the amount of money being flowed into Bitcoin. But we will see. Maybe Bitcoin will respond negatively to ETFs, because it is such a controlled way of managing Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's all about not being controlled. So we will see how it works out, but that is my strategy. Selling off CONY in the coming year, probably in July, August, so mid of the year, a little bit past middle of the year, and that is that. Of course, the market is going crazy. Just to update you guys, the market is going crazy. My account's going crazy. Except today, of course, S&P 500 had a sell-off. Everybody took their profits today. But besides that, it is going up. Everything's going up, and that is perfect for investors. TSLY is showing to be still a good investment. If you guys did not know, TSLY is also shooting up. And before we end this video, we could go ahead and check that out real quick. TSLY is shooting up. Of course, it's down today because as the whole market is. But TSLY is up a good amount. We were down at the $12 mark after distribution, or sorry, the $10 mark after distribution, and we are now up to $11.70, and we actually hit the $12 mark. So as we can see, if YieldMax ETFs takes good trades, then we get decent growth, and we also get good returns. So that was me. That's my strategy going in for CONY for next year of 2024. And yeah, just a quick video demonstrating what I'm planning to do, and hopefully you guys take a look on your own on all this information that we are being given for next year, and take your own choices and make your own investments wisely. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I will see you guys in the next one, and this was just a quick video to talk about my strategy. So see you guys later. Thank you for all the support. See ya.